Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. This is our last segment on our first live show on WHNZ 1250.
It's going fast.
It's fast when you're having fun.
It is. I think they're going to have to give us 2 hours.
I'm thinking that's already in the works. I think Dave just walked around the corner to work on that right now.
That was the sound of him hitting the glass. He just passed out.
So Ryan, thanks for telling your story to the listeners. That I was there for part of that in the beginning, and I got to watch that develop, and everything you said was spot on. I think back as we started businesses around the same time, we kind of inspired each other.
Yeah.
You saw my success, I saw your success. We talked about failures, we talked about these things, and that's part of the reason that we're all here together in the studio right now.
I'll tell you, that Great Recession, it was awful. But it was. But it taught you a lot. That's the one thing I am very thankful at this point now in my career to have gone through that. Because I learned so much during that 3-year downward spiral that it shaped my entire career from that point forward.
Yeah, and I know Doug did too. Doug played around in real estate back then. I learned some hard lessons.
We all did.
Yeah, I think we all might have lost more money in those couple of years than we made in all the years before that.
I know I did.
But guess what? We're still here.
Yeah.
We're still successful. And listeners, that's what you have to know is hard work, perseverance. You can be successful. And with success, you always have main principles. You always have things that you have built your business around, things that you started it. Like Doug, for instance, what were your principles? You started
Ryan and I both have not similar businesses, but we're in the service industry. So, there's thousands of roofing companies. There's thousands of plumbers. So you really have to differentiate yourself from everybody else. Mm-hmm. So I always looked at, what can I do differently? And we have a tile process that's different from everybody else. We are probably one of the best tile installers in the Tampa area. But with that said, you have, the best customer service, and you have, doing what you say and saying what you do. Those are two huge things.
That's it. That's the principle that I stuck to. Do what you say and say what you do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have that. Otherwise you're not going to have a company. You can, you can do business and you can, have a product, but if you don't have good customer service, it's going to fail.
And Ryan, what kind of principles I know what you run your business on, but what are the main principles that drive your business?
From a young age, I was told if you ever see anyone outworking you, if anyone around you is outworking you, you will be passed up. So hard work. If you just cannot let anyone outwork you, that's always been my guiding principle.
And then that's a good one. And where that starts? At the top.
Yep.
And I absolutely know going into your office that they look at you and they know they have to step up their game.
I think that's the key to any good leader.
Absolutely.
They have to be one to lay down on the tracks first.
So for me, you guys don't even know what I do yet, unless you've Googled it. But we're going to do my story next week. We're going to take the time, and I'll tell you how I got into the business I am, which is mortgages. But for me, it's customer service. Along with what Doug and Ryan were saying. And to differentiate myself, it was about the fees in my industry. Like, you guys have thousands of competitors and all kinds of prices, and just like any business, in our business, there is a very black and white line between junk fees and not junk fees. And I decided to make a decision, which I'll tell you about next week, about how to differentiate my business and not charge certain fees that everybody else did. But that goes along with customer service. Right. Take care of your customers, and you'll be successful. So, without further ado, my favorite part of the show, the business tip of the week. Every week, we're going to bring you a business tip that's going to help you succeed in your business, whether you've been around for 50 years, 5 years, or 5 minutes. And this week, it's kind of a vague one, but there's a lot to talk about. Is there ever a right time? And I left it at that because that could mean, is there a right time for change? Is there a right time to hire somebody, to fire somebody, to spend more money on advertising? I know Ryan and I, our companies, have gone through ridiculous change in the last year. We have gone from companies that were autopilot, where we didn't have to be there every day, to making changes that brought us into the office and made major corporate changes. Ryan, was there a right time to do these things?
No, there's never a right time, but then again, there's never a wrong time either. You have to. I think that the key is that you just can't be afraid. You cannot be afraid of change. And if someone's holding you back, if something's holding you back, you have got to get rid of it. You have got to cut the cancer off, and you have got to move on. Otherwise, it'll affect the rest of your company, and it will bring you down.
Let's elaborate on that for a second.
Well,
cancer.
I definitely think you need to have your finger on the pulse.
Absolutely.
Have your finger on the pulse and looking at the future trends of what your business is doing and where things are going. and looking at your numbers on forecasting where things are headed, you always have to be able to do that.
I like what Doug said. It's like a doctor.
Yep.
The doctor, what do you do when he walks in there? They take your pulse, they weigh you, they take your temperature, they check the vitals.
Right.
If you're not in the office, you can't check the vitals.
And I hadn't been in my office for the change that you're talking about.
Right.
I hired a key lieutenant. He ran my company for 3 years. He went a certain way with things, and I decided that it was time to go a different direction. And it's something that it wasn't an easy decision by any means whatsoever, because I knew what it was going to involve for me.
A lot of time.
But I'll tell you what, I am loving it. I am having so much fun right now, and I feel like I'm better at what I'm doing now than I've ever been. And I wake up every day bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'll tell you that's what I say when I go into the office. I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and your employees can tell. So the takeaway from this, guys, if you have to make a change, let's say it's a virus, which a virus we mean is an employee who's infecting other employees with negativity. We hate negativity here at the Business Happy Hour. If that's an infection in your office and you got your finger on the pulse, you figure it out right away.
Yep.
Okay, guys, it's going to be bad.
You're going to before it spreads.
Right. You're going to have to cut that tumor out. You're going to have to put that new person in. It's going to be rough.
And it hurts.
It hurts. It does.
Ask Ryan.
Here goes, guys. There's no Novocaine in business. I'm going to get a shirt. I'm going to make a shirt that says that. There's no Novocaine in business.
That's a true statement.
You better copyright that, because it's about to hit 1 million.
Oh, wait a minute. This is live?
Too late.
All right, too late. I lost it. It'll be on Google tomorrow, Amazon, whatever. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to tell you about next week's show. Next week's show is going to be phenomenal. Our guest is none other than Chris Areola. He is one of the owners of On Swan Restaurant, the #1 restaurant in Tampa Bay right now. This guy's story is going to blow your mind, and the best part about it is that Chris started this journey, this very scary journey, with a family with 3 kids. He walked away from one of the best jobs you could ever have as vice president of Bonefish Grill.
But then he started as a dishwasher.
He started as a dishwasher
I love it.
Outback Steakhouse at Florida State University.
What a man.
He's going to be in here live next week. He's going to tell us his story, and I promise you it's going to be a good one. Do not miss that show. It's going to be on the Business Happy Hour here at 11 a.m. Don't forget to download the iHeart Media app. You're going to need that if you're not in your car. I want you to listen to us, chime in, call us if you want to join us, 813-636-TALK. We're going to see you guys next week with Chris Areola and the Business Tip of the Week. Please join us on the Business Happy Hour.
The preceding